Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Absolute BSS, the Casualpetitive podcast about Bandai Namco's Battle Spirit Saga card game. I'm one of your hosts, Cameron.
And I'm your other host, Eric.
And we are back to discuss some more spoiler cards. I've got the face cam up on the YouTube version of this just because, whatever. You know, it's a little... for when we don't have stuff up on the screen, it's a little less awkward, I guess, if we have someone on there. So I'm here. If you were interested in that face reveal, go on over to our YouTube Absolute BSS pod.
So this makes so much sense now, because you were just talking about, before we started recording, how good your hair looks. So you like really, dolled yourself up for this.
I did. I had to throw the face cam on. I'm like, man, I can't be the only one appreciating this. No. my friend Alex cut my hair, or our friend Alex cut my hair, and she's like, I'm gonna give you like a top pony. And I'm like, whatever. I usually wear a hat anyway, but I'm kind of digging it.
Oh yeah,
I'm kind of feeling it.
I can't see it right now, so the viewers are seeing it, and I don't see it yet. So
yeah, I've also got my fourth cup of coffee today. I'm picking up our friend Chad from the airport tonight at 11. So I'm gonna need to stay awake. But yeah, there's some exciting stuff happening this weekend. Eric and I are gonna be hanging out in person again. Probably play some Battle Spirits. Probably rope our friends into playing some Battle Spirits. And also, Shadowverse Evolve comes out, the English release of the 7-year-old now digital card game. And yeah, we're just going to take a couple minutes to talk about some of the games that we're playing. And for mine, that's going to be Shadowverse this weekend. So I'm really excited to pick up each of the 6 starter decks.
You're going to have one of each, right?
Yeah, I'm going to try to pick up one of each just because I'm still learning the game. I've played it off and on digitally the last couple of years. Never really seriously, but it's neat. It's like Hearthstone, but has its own kind of mechanics to it. But we were kind of talking about last week, or on the last episode of the podcast, not last week, but digital stuff being implemented into physical games. Well, this is an entirely digital game that they're creating physically now, and I just think that's really neat. So I'm gonna get
that's super cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna get the 6 starter decks. We're gonna have people in town this weekend for the 4th of July weekend, so we can just kind of play with the starter decks and kind of feel out the game without too much of a huge commitment. And at the very least, I think it'll be fun to play some of these games. So yeah, gonna pick up each of the starter decks and check out some Shadowverse this weekend.
The nice thing about picking up starter decks is if you're like, you know what, I like this game, but I don't really want to commit too much to this, you can just keep the starter decks just as they are, almost as like a board game.
Yeah, I have a lot of starter decks for games that I didn't invest a lot of money into. Like Final Fantasy, I have some Light Seekers, I have the Warhammers TCG they came out with a few years ago.
I heard that Warhammer TCG was really good.
It was really good, but they killed it with their own free digital app.
Oh man.
Yeah, but it was fun.
That sucks.
Yeah, the system was really cool of rotating the cards. I had a lot of fun
lane
playing
combat, right?
It did.
That's cool.
It was really fun, but yeah, it kind of shot itself in the foot.
I did that with Force of Will, actually. I bought some of the Force of Will starter decks, and I really enjoyed it. I just never really, got too far into it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
No, I'm excited to try Shadowverse, though. I don't know anything about it other than the little introduction video that you sent me, but it looks really cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's super waifu Hearthstone game. It's neat. It's fine. Honestly, I'm not super into the art or anything. And I showed my wife, I was like, I think you'll like this game mechanically. I don't think you'll like anything else about it. And she's like, all right, I'll try it at the very least. But I really like playing Forestcraft. We talked about this a little bit last episode too. I like the tokens.
Yeah, I don't know anything about anything other than Bladecraft and Forestcraft, I guess, because those are the two in the little tutorial. But Forestcraft looks really fun because you make all the little fairies.
And again, I just love the color green. But the cards do look really, really pretty. The foiling patterns on some of the cards that they've released and the alt art and stuff like that, it looks really good. Cygames actually had a video game release last year that I played, and I didn't make that connection until a couple of days ago when I followed them on Twitter. But they made a game it's probably on the Switch and Steam, called Little Noah, Scion of Paradise. and it's like a little roguelite, almost like a card battler, but like
Ooh.
I don't know how to describe it. You get like little monsters, and you can upgrade them by getting multiple versions of the same monster, and then
so
like
it almost sounds like Teamfight Tactics or something.
yeah, it's a
like.
little bit like Team Fight Tactics, but it's a 2D roguelite action platformer. And so each of your little monsters is assigned to one of your buttons, and you use them to attack. And so you kind of like try to chain your 5 max monsters into the best way that you can. And there are 3 little biomes, and each time you lose, you go back to this little hub city and build it up so you can go out with like a little better of a build to start with, and then like you steamroll it. I think I put about 15 hours into it, beat the game. It's great. I think it's on sale right now for the 1-year anniversary. So if you're looking for like a really not a huge time commitment, but just a fun, unique little game in like a little chibi art style, Little Noah Scion of Paradise, amazing game. Check it out. It's Games.
I might check that out. I like those roguelike games quite a lot, and especially if there's some like, board game, card game strategy kind of element to it. Like that always ropes me in.
Yeah, it's neat. But what are you jazzed on right now, Eric? What game have you been playing lately?
Yeah, I've been really into. It just came out yesterday or the day before yesterday, I think. The remake of Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life came out as Story of Seasons: A Wonderful Life. One of my favorite video games from when I was a kid, and it's just a really chill farming game. And of course, it has like you go around and talk to all the townspeople, and you like forge relationships with them, and you get married and have kids and have cows and goats and sheep and chickens and all that. It's just a chill game, and it's been really nice to play something like that again. And what I like about the remake is it feels the way that I remember it feeling when I played it as a kid, which doesn't mean that they just ported it 1-to-1, because I have gone back and played the original, and man, it is a grind. Because like it came out in like 2004 or something. So like they didn't have all the quality of life stuff that we have now. Like they have like in this version, I saw there's ways to like upgrade your farm so that it automatically fertilizes your fields for you and stuff like that. Whereas in the old one, you had to put it down like 1 bag at a time, the fertilizer, like every day.
Yeah, like. I've been watching one of our mutual friends stream it, and she's having a blast with it. And it is really cool to see like that nostalgic game, but yeah, like you said, some quality of life improvements and upgrades, and like everything kind of looks sharper and brighter and prettier than I remember. But it is like it's like actually looking at it for real, but through the lens of like you as a child. Like it's very cool and very cozy, and they did an excellent job with it. I think the way that they made all the colors more vibrant and just straight up colorful was actually a great stylistic choice, because it does make it feel like how I remember it looking when I was a kid. Just probably because when I was a kid, I wasn't beaten down by life at that point. So. And you had time to like put a lot of investment and time into games like that. So it's nice to like set aside some time now as an adult and be like, I'm gonna put 4 hours into this virtual farming game, and I'm gonna thrive. So that's really great.
That's the thing, is when I was a kid, I had 15 hours to manually fertilize my fields. Now I don't, so I'm glad that they didn't make me do that.
Yeah.
But cool. Well, let's get into. I hope everybody enjoyed that little segment. Just something new we're trying out. Just talking about other games we're playing.
If not, let us know. Email us absolutebsspod@gmail.com.
It was really just a ploy to get emails. We're trying to piss off our audience so that they reach out to us.
We really, I had a podcast for years fueled on hate mail. So,
it was funny because that was something I was thinking about your podcast when we were doing this podcast, and I mentioned the hate mail thing, but I didn't intentionally do that. I just, for some reason, it's I feel like your old podcast inspired me. Like, let's get hate mail going. That's fun.
I'm a very hateable person too, because I just love to enjoy things. So people on the internet are like, why?
How dare you like this remake of a Harvest Moon game? The old one was better. You know that.
How dare you like Flame Weasel? It's a trash card for trash people. I love
That's
Flame
exactly
Weasel.
why we love it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a perfect reason to love it. Shout out to, really quick, shout out to, I don't remember the full name, but last time we mentioned someone commented on our gameplay video. Went and looked. It was Scud.
Yeah.
Something. So shout out to you. Thanks for commenting. Hope you're listening to this right now and enjoying yourself.
Yeah, or watching and seeing my hair.
Yeah, seeing Cam's beautiful hair. And not seeing me at all. Just imagine that my hair looks just as good. Just imagine it. It's like beautiful, long, flowing locks.
Yeah, very Fabio-esque.
Yeah, that's not what my hair looks like at all, but just imagine it.
Oh, I am wearing my Absolute BSS shirt, too. We have shirts.
Oh, hell yeah. We do have shirts.
Well, Eric and I have shirts.
Yeah, you can't have shirts. Sorry.
Yeah, it says Absolute BSS here.
They're prohibitively expensive to make. Like, each of our shirts, I think, was like $40.
I was going to say, dude, I put it on, and I was like, this is like the most comfortable shirt I own.
Yeah.
I'm like, he really went for it.
Yeah, well, it was already so expensive because of how many colors there are in our logo.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, screw it. I'm just going to get like the nice shirt to print it on.
Well, I appreciate
shirts,
it. They are great shirts. I'm loving mine.
If you see us out and about wearing the shirt, you can come up to us and let us know that you're listeners of the podcast. I don't think that's going to happen, but you know what? You never know.
You never know. You truly never know. I'll be wearing it at Gen Con, so.
I'll be wearing mine at Gen Con, too. That'll be a way to find us.
Yeah. Yeah. You'll be facing off against my weird green purple deck, and you'll hate me. Yeah. But you'll be like, cool shirt.
Bring us your Flame Weasels and your Clocodiles. We'll sign them. And completely tank their value by signing them.
Oh, man. Yeah. How do you make Flame Weasel worth less than a penny? You get my signature on it. Oh, man. Well, yeah, let's get into the meat and potatoes. Everything that, everyone is here for. We're going to talk about some more Battle Spirit Saga cards. We've got the Nexuses spoiled. And I think today we're just going to primarily focus on those. It might be a little bit of a shorter episode. That's why we're kind of padding the front if you want to peek behind the curtain there. But yeah, we're just going to go over the Nexuses. Just in general, Eric, I want to talk to you about this because we haven't.
Yeah.
How... I feel like you use and you might value Nexuses more than I do. I find when I'm deck building, I add Nexuses last just to fill out a number sometimes. Obviously, there are some that are really pivotal to certain archetypes. But even then, I'm not eager to throw 3 or 4 copies of one Nexus in. And I don't know how I feel about Nexuses overall, especially with a lot of the Nexus removal that we're about to get. What do you think?
I have, for a minute here, been considering a deck that just doesn't run Nexuses. Just because I thought it'd be a lot of people tech cards in their deck to deal with Nexuses,
yeah,
Burning Force or Dream Bomb, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So if you just don't have Nexuses, then you kind of take away some value. There are just some really solid, really good Nexuses, though.
Right.
And I think this is maybe what you're referring to. I end up putting Volcanic Canyon into almost every deck I build. It doesn't matter what color it is. I put Volcanic Canyon in there.
Yeah.
Which Volcanic Canyon is a 4-cost Nexus. I believe it has 2 reduction. But really the reason it's in there is during your draw step, you draw an extra card and then you discard 1. So you're seeing 2 cards instead of 1, and you can pick the cards that are relevant to the situation you're in. So I think that Nexus is very, very good. And white has a couple good ones as well. I think Rocket City, which punishes people for drawing extra cards, is also quite good. However, Rocket City does not, just as a quick aside, does not stop people from using Volcanic Canyon, because Rocket City says outside of the draw step, Volcanic Canyon happens during the draw step, so that's not an interaction there. But
yeah.
Anyways, long answer to your question. I think some Nexuses are really, really good and worth playing, but I think quite a few of them are really not worth the card slot. I'd almost rather see a Spirit or a Magic every single time.
Yeah, I think so. especially like top decking a Nexus towards the mid range or end of the game doesn't usually feel good.
Yeah.
Unless it's like, you know, you're playing purple and you need some draw and you draw that Netherworld Depths. But like, yeah, because like I'm working on that green purple deck. I have Airborne Crag slotted in. I don't think I want it. We've seen, and we'll talk about it today actually, the Ant Nexus. But even then, I'm like, I don't know if I need that in this specific deck or at all. Like, Nexuses are tricky for me. So maybe I'll learn something today looking at some of these spoilers and theory crafting with you. But for those of you out there who feel the same way, this is the Nexus episode.
Oh yeah, we're getting deep into Nexus territory. We're going straight into the meteorite impact zone.
Yeah. Well, that's a great segue. Just kick it off.
All right, meteorite impact zone. So the first few Nexuses we have here are our red Nexuses spoiled for the new set. Meteorite impact zone is a 4-cost 2 reduction red Nexus, level 1 0 cores, level 2 3 cores. At both level 1 and level 2, during your attack step, when you reduce your opponent's life with an attack from one of your spirits with a soul core on it, select one of your opponent's spirits with 2,000 or fewer BP and destroy it. And then at level 2, for 3 cores, during your attack step, you can flash, at flash speed, destroy this Nexus to draw 2 cards. So,
yeah, interesting. What do you think?
I think the during your attack step flash, just not this specific ability, but just the fact that that is something that is written on a Nexus is really interesting. Because we have not seen that before. We have not seen flash speed on a Nexus.
Yeah.
Destroying the Nexus while it has 3 cores, you have to put 3 cores on this and then destroy it to draw 2 cards. That's a lot of core commitment because you have to pay, you know, anywhere from 2 to 4 cores to put it down. You have to put 3 cores on top of it. So at minimum 5 cores to do the draw thing. And you just get to draw 2 cards. I mean, you're already getting way better value by just during your main phase playing Starblessed Draw.
Yeah. Like, what deck is this Nexus for?
Yeah, the first ability kills little guys when you hit your opponent's life with a spirit with a soul core on it, but
wouldn't they just chump block with that little guy anyway?
That's what I was about to say. I don't really get it.
Yeah, I'm not figuring this one out. I like maybe in a green deck with Swift, you want to destroy it, draw 2 cards, draw into a Swift creature that you can flash in with those cores in your reserve. I have no clue.
Yeah, I feel like this would be pretty playable if the first ability just had some type of passive, like all your red spirits gain 1,000 BP, or, you know, just another one of those.
Yeah.
And then it had the, like, added utility of, like, but also, if you want to draw some cards, you could.
Yeah, like there's much better draw utility, especially in red. Like red has the draws. Yeah, red has Volcanic Canyon, Starblessed Draw, Charge Draw. Like they're not hurting for this card.
Yeah.
It's weird.
That's my thing is, like, in what world would you play this over Volcanic Canyon?
Yeah, same cost. And honestly, the level 2 ability is way more expensive. I know it gives you some utility, but like for what?
Yeah, 3 cores is steep to, and like, you may not even do this. Like, you may just have the 3 cores on there and decide not to. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't really get this one. Maybe we'll look back on this podcast and be like, holy shit, were we wrong about this?
We were wrong. I'd love to be proven wrong. Maybe we're getting some Swift red creatures in the 3rd set, but until then, I don't love this card.
Yeah. Even then, I don't know that I would love this card.
Yeah, like, that's still just so expensive just to do a parlor trick, you know?
Yeah. Well, let's move on to the next one, see what we get.
All right, this one is Great Desk Mountains.
Cool art on this one.
Yeah, this is some cool art. It is a 4-cost, reduced by 2, red Nexus. At level 1, 0 cores. Level 2, 2 cores. So level 1 and level 2, during your opponent's start step, you can select one of your spirits with Awaken and refresh it. And there aren't a ton of those, right?
No, it's the Star Dragons, right?
Oh, yeah. Okay. So this is, a Star Dragon one. That makes sense. And then at level 2, again for 2 cores, during your attack step, when one of your spirits with 1 core on it attacks, select one of your opponent's spirits that costs 7 or fewer, and that spirit cannot block during this turn. That's pretty good.
I think this one is, first of all, I think way better than the one we were just looking at. However, extremely niche. Like, I think you're just playing this maybe in a Star Dragon build, right?
I think you might want to play this in Pterosaur aggro. If you go really wide with the little red guy that like costs 1, reduce 1. If you have a bunch of those and they all have 1, like each time they attack, but never mind. You're only selecting 1 each time during this battle. So yeah, never mind. It's not as good as I thought.
When one of your spirits with 1 core on it attacks, select one of your opponent's spirits. It might trigger for each one that attacks though, right?
Yeah, but it's during that battle, so you'd have to keep choosing either the same spirit or a different one, but then that one you chose before is now able to block.
Maybe you hold this in your hand until you get a situation where, like, oh, now all of my stuff can basically be unblockable because they were depending on something to block my stuff that, like a single axe biter or something.
You know what this also turns off?
What?
Elk. If they only have like elk and they're banking on that, you can sneak past elk and deal a damage. So that's pretty cool. I'm assuming this one, because again, I don't play Star Dragons, I don't play Red that much. I'm sure people are going pretty crazy for that first level 1 passive ability, because refreshing spirits is always good, but especially awaken spirits that can manipulate your cores during the attack step later on. That definitely gives your opponent something more to think about. That level 2 is a little more niche, which we tend to see on Nexuses anyway, and I bet it's just for the suppression meta, you know?
This gets around suppression, but also I realize now why the 1 core thing is a thing, because with Awaken you could reduce the cores on your other spirits, like as you move them around.
Oh, that's
true.
So
you're starting the battle, you're starting the attack step with cores maybe in a different position than where you're ending it. I could see this seems like a real thinky card that maybe is actually quite good, even if just for that one specific deck. But I think you got to be careful with this, because if you're going up against purple and you try to do something like this and leave 1 core on your spirits, they're gonna die. Yeah,
I feel like this is a decent sideboard Nexus for Star Dragon decks in competitive play.
Or you mainboard it and then have some other Nexus in your side, and then if you see purple, you just don't play it, and then for game 2 you side it out.
Yeah, there you go.
I think this one's interesting.
Yeah, and again, like, let us know if we're wrong. If you're a Star Dragon player out there and you're like, these guys are totally missing the mark, explain it to us in the simplest terms and get us on board.
That's fair, because I was interested in Star Dragons when we got into the game, but I never really pursued it too much.
Me neither. And I don't hear people talking about them right now. So maybe this will bring them back into the fold.
I hope so. I think they're cool. I think
they're very cool. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, next up is Flame Crystal.
I like the art on this one.
Yeah, super cool. It's like Stonehenge, like a Stonehenge monk guy holding a giant flame crystal.
Yeah.
5 cost 2 reduction Nexus, so pretty pricey. Let's see what it does. This is red Nexus, level 1 0 cores, level 2 1 core, and during your attack step, at both level 1 and 2, select one of your attacking spirits. While one of your attacking spirits is being blocked, it gains 1,000 BP. So BP really only matters while a battle is happening anyways, so uh, it kind of does the same thing as just giving it 1,000 BP. I guess the only time this would matter is like for effects that reference specific BP levels, but
Yeah.
essentially it's giving it 1,000 BP. But at level 2, during your attack step, when one of your spirits with a soul core on it, and that's where the flame crystal, I think, comes in here,
Yeah.
attacks, select one of your opponent's spirits with a soul core on it and attack that spirit. So this second ability is really weird because your spirit with a soul core is attacking your opponent's spirit with a soul core. So I'm immediately thinking that, like, obviously the soul core can go anywhere, but now because this card exists, you do have to think about that a little bit, like where you place it.
Well, and also gives the attacker the ability to choose a creature to attack, because that doesn't happen. You can't normally choose
who
your opponent defends with, right? But in this case, you can specifically target a spirit. I know it's still situational, but that's something that's cool.
There's a couple other cards that do that. I think in purple there's a card that allows you to select a spirit to attack. But but this one's weird because the spirit that you're attacking has to have the soul core on it. So like you might attack, I guess, like maybe one of those curse spirits, like Camelot Knight, but a lot of times spirits with soul cores on them do good stuff when they die if they have the soul core. So
I wonder if this also pairs with Awaken, where you can kind of like move around the cores. Again, I don't really know how well that works, but like if you declare an attack and you have the soul core on it and then you move the cores around, you can still get that attack done, but then can you move your soul core somewhere else? So then the next creature that you attack with gets well, no, because if you kill something with the soul core on it, the soul core goes away. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Red's coming out with some weird Nexuses.
Yeah, these are weird for Red. I feel like Red's previous Nexuses have just been like big spirit get big and then draw.
Good Nexuses.
Yeah.
So maybe they're just, kind of, we'll throw in some weird niche ones for people to figure out, but we're not going to like just bring out the obviously powerful ones. Or we're totally missing it.
Well, I would really like, the cool thing about these cards is like, I may not play around with these too much because none of them really interest me, but someone out there is going to think that Flame Crystal is the coolest card ever printed and is going to make some weird deck, and it's going to be interesting.
Yep. I'm excited to see where those fall in the meta.
Yeah. I don't think they're bad, but I just think they're just not super interesting. I'm not excited to play with any of those, I don't think. Maybe the Awaken one I might mess around with. But
I don't have the experience to be able to look at any of those three and go, oh, I can't wait to slot that in,
Yeah.
But we're moving into purple now, and I'll be interested to see what these look like. Because, again, I've been trying to avoid spoilers for this show specifically.
I looked at all of these, but I'm not close enough to where like I remember what all of them do.
Well, so I've got Dreadrock Fortress up, and I think we're going to start seeing a theme here. So this is a 5-cost purple Nexus, can be reduced by 3.
That's some good reduction on a Nexus.
That is some good reduction. Purple tends to have some good reduction for some really powerful stuff. So at level 1, it's 0 cores. Level 2, 2 cores. The abilities are, at level 1 and level 2, during your attack step. When you reduce your opponent's life with an attack from one of your spirits, your opponent selects one of their exhausted spirits and remove 2 cores from it, place them into your opponent's reserve.
That's really good.
That's some insult to injury right there. You start swinging with curse that they don't want to, or like, there's a lot of possibility here. Yep. And then level 2, we're getting another flash effect. So during your opponent's attack step, you can flash this ability. You may destroy this Nexus. And again, level 2 is for only 2 cores. The red one with the flash ability had to have 3 cores on it. You may destroy this Nexus to select one of your opponent's spirits. Remove a core from it. Place it into their reserve. That's utility.
Yeah, it's a little pricey to keep 2 cores on this thing to have that in your back pocket. But I think the utility in that second ability is not actually to kill things. I think it's to just mess with the math during the
it's
combat.
to reduce some BP, or if you do get lucky, it's because you can only do it once, right? You're gonna destroy it. So, but yeah, I think there's some really tricky plays you can do here. I think this slots well into a core control deck and curse decks. I think this is a neat one. I like it.
You know, these Nexuses with these flash abilities at level 2 where you have to keep cores on them, essentially, like, maybe to use them as a magic. I wonder if there's going to be a card at some point that's, like, or maybe there already is one, but I can't think of it, that's like, treat all of your Nexuses as level 2.
Ooh. Yeah. You know? I bet you're right. I bet you're totally right.
Because I think that these abilities, if you don't have to have cores on the Nexus to do them, become so much better.
Infinitely better.
Like really, really good.
Yeah.
But yeah, that first ability is quite good as well, where you get to remove cores if you deal damage to their life. I think it does exactly what purple wants to do, which is make people think twice about how they're going to deal with the purple cards.
Yeah, it really, and like, I think purple might be the most dynamic color so far. It's hard to say definitively, but I feel like, I just feel like purple has, it's just a Swiss Army knife, and every single blade in it is dipped in poison. Like, it's nuts.
Yeah, purple draws cards. Purple is aggressive. Purple floods
Exhausts,
the battlefield.
removes
purple has
cores.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
yeah. It does a lot of stuff.
Yeah, and just already, first card, I think, is already more value than the 3 reds. And that's super ignorant of me. Again, I just want to reiterate that I know I'm talking out of my ass a little bit, but the only thing is, you're right, it's very expensive. There's a lot of Nexus removal. This would feel bad to lose if you loaded it up with cores, and then suddenly you don't have your little tricks. But the versatility is there. It's really there. I could see that slotting into a sideboard.
I could see myself playing this one.
Me too.
All right. Next up is Impaler Forest. So it's another purple Nexus, 4 cost 2 reduction. Level 1, 0 cores, level 2, 3 cores. At both level 1 and level 2, during your attack step, when you destroy one of your spirits with one of your effects, your opponent selects one of their spirits, remove a core from it, and place it into their reserve. And then at level 2, during opponent's end step, at the start of the step, you may discard the top card of your deck. If you do, select the spirit card in your trash and return it to the top of your deck.
Whoa.
Ooh, wait. So this can combo with King Charles.
Yes, it can. That's interesting.
Because you can put a Void Lord on the top of your deck and then play it for free if you already have a Void Lord out.
Oh, man.
Or if you have Namengard out, you could put down like an Armored Dragon or whatever.
Yeah. I'm also thinking this is cool for when you draw your big guys or your combo pieces a little early. Like, my first thought is having Baculus without having Infernal Curse Dragon. So you still use Baculus, you still cause some mayhem, but you might lose Baculus. Then you drop Impaler Forest, and later on in the game you get to tutor when you put Baculus back on top of your deck, and your opponent can't do anything about it. That's kind of cool.
Pretty cool.
Because that level 2 effect is during your opponent's end step. Yeah. So those cores only have to be there during your opponent's turn. So you draw your Baculus, you scoop 3 more cores off of this, and then drop Baculus again. That's the first thing that came to mind. But there's a lot of utility and a lot of good purple targets to pull back from the discard pile.
Yeah. I mean, you can essentially create infinite loops with this, because you just, like, I don't think there's a way to, like, exile a card from the graveyard or whatever.
Not yet. Not that I know of. This will also be good defense against blue later on, because blue's going to mill your deck. You can drop Impaler Forest and get that recursion.
Yeah, you got to be careful though, because it does mill you one as well. So
It does.
you start playing into their. You gotta, if you're gonna do this, you gotta really take advantage of it.
Yep. I think
You
this
gotta
card
finish
will.
the game.
Yeah, I think this card will get better. I think it's good where it is.
When I first read this, I was kind of like, but after us discussing it, I'm a little interested. There's some interesting stuff you can do with this.
Yeah.
The first ability, though, we kind of glossed over it. So you're destroying your own stuff with your own effects. So the only thing I can think of right now is like Deadly Balance or that Nemesis guy who, when he attacks, I think he kills one of your spirits to do something that it says on him.
Yeah.
Um,
When you destroy one of your spirits with one of your effects.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. That is very conditional.
Yeah, and then your opponent gets to choose what gets a core removed from it, so it's not.
I think I
fantastic,
just realized how to articulate some of my problems with Nexuses. Not all of them, but I feel like a lot of Nexuses telegraph exactly what else is in your deck. And that's why I don't like them.
Yeah, you play a Fabled Beast Nexus, and it's like, oh, Fabled Beast.
Fabled Beast deck, and then immediately your opponent gets into that mindset. Netherworld Depths is different. Volcanic Canyon is different because there's not a lot you can do about it except remove it. Netherworld Depths, if you're playing against purple, your odds are you're going to see that card anyway. But then, you're right. The yellow ones, it's like, which yellow deck am I facing against? Turn 1, they play Phantasmal Paradise. Okay. Or turn 1, they play, like you said, or maybe I just said that, the Fabled Beast one. Yeah.
Yeah.
It telegraphs.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think the other one you were thinking of was that other Nexus that if all of your spirits have the same cost or whatever.
Yeah.
Then it kind of telegraphs that you're probably playing the 2-cost version of yellow.
Yep. And then there are some white Nexuses that tell your traits. I mean, the Pterosaur Nexus. I mean, that Star Dragon Nexus that we just talked about. Maybe that's my problem with Nexuses.
Then I think what could be really cool, we have flash abilities on Nexus, but what about Nexuses that you can play at flash speed?
That's got to be the next evolution of that, and that I'm interested in.
That would be cool.
That'd be very, very cool.
Yeah. No, I think this is an interesting card, though. I'm interested to play around with this one. This one has got my my deck building gears turning. I think there's some cool stuff you can do with this.
I think so, too. It makes me want to go back through my collection and see what destroys my own stuff and when.
Yeah.
Because that's again insult to injury. That's what purple really does. It's like it applies the cut and then pours the salt also. Yeah. And I love that. It's very fun. And so those little combos, purple feels like one of the only ones that does that really, really well, at least right now. So that is a cool Nexus.
Yeah. Definitely interested in that one.
Yeah. This next one, Monstrous Mausoleum. Great name. 5 cost, reduced by 2, purple Nexus. Level 1 is 0 cores. Level 2 is 3 cores. So at level 1 and level 2, during your attack step, when one of your spirits with a soul core on it is blocked, remove a core from the blocking spirit and place it into your opponent's reserve. So curse, typically. Or Aglavale. Aglavale usually has a soul core on it. That's pretty fun. So again, it's that I don't want to block a spirit with curse, and now if I do, I have to remove a core from it, so I might not even be able to block a spirit with curse. So that's pretty good, especially for a passive. I like that one a lot. This one's going to see some play in curse decks.
I think the fact that that's passive at 0 is decent utility for if the next ability is the reason you're playing this.
Yes. So at level 2, again for 3 cores, this is always on. Draw a card when one of your undead spirits is destroyed by your opponent.
That feels good. I have not built an undead deck, but I know we have lots of new undead spirits in the new set, and we have some in the old set that I didn't realize were undead until undead became a thing that mattered. So
yeah. To me, this feels like a Netherworld Depths light. It does things kind of like Netherworld Depths, where it's like it makes your opponent feel bad about blocking. It makes your opponent sometimes really, truly unable to block. And you still get the draw if you load it up. Because you're going to be aggressive typically with your undead curse guys. and you're trading and drawing a card. That's pretty fun.
I think you're making a strong argument for playing Netherworld Depths over this, though, by by pointing that out. Because I look at the stats on this, like
Yeah, that's a good point.
5 cost 2 reduction. Netherworld Depths is 6 cost 3 reduction, right? So
Yeah, and you really only care about that first one.
The essentially the same cost, and then Netherworld Depths draws a card every time one of your opponent's spirits is exhausted.
Yeah,
so,
passively. You're right.
Like,
this is Netherworld Depths at home.
Yeah. That's a fantastic way to put it. Maybe this gets play because we're getting some kind of rotation. So I don't know.
Oh, true.
I don't know if this rotate. I don't know the rotation schedule. So maybe this rotates out at the same time as Netherworld Depths, and I'm wrong about this, but maybe this gets play like a year from now when Netherworld Depths rotates.
Yeah, as the alternative to kind of do a similar thing. I definitely, I don't see people ever running 4 copies of this card.
Yeah.
But
I unless there's some crazy thing that happens where your undead spirits are constantly being destroyed by your opponent and you can draw way more cards with this, I don't really see it.
Yeah, because again, it's like those Groons. It's like this very specifically says when one of your undead spirits is destroyed by your opponent. Yeah. So this one doesn't trigger with Deadly Balance. This one doesn't, get to do that.
I think we should test this out, though, because I'd be interested to see.
I think so, too.
Like, I think just in a regular purple deck with Netherworld Depths, I think just for play testing, let's just, for shits and giggles, let's swap it out with this.
Yep.
If it's an undead deck, I guess. If it's, like, undead heavy.
Yeah.
Swap it out with this, see how it goes, and then also play the same deck with Netherworld Depths and see which one works better. Because maybe that first ability is more powerful than we're giving it credit for. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm interested in this one. That one's got my deck building juices flowing.
Yeah. Oh man, that's your deck building juices.
Oh, my juices, they're flowing.
Oh god.
let's go to white real quick.
They're
before
flowing right into the monstrous mausoleum.
Oh boy.
Okay. We're starting with Far-Flung Land.
Yeah.
All right. Far-Flung Land, 4 cost 2 reduction, white Nexus. Level 1 at 0 cores and level 2 at 3 cores. So this one has a level 1 and level 2 flash ability. So flash ability for 0 cores, that's already feeling a little bit better.
Yeah, that's pretty nice.
So at flash speed, you can destroy this Nexus to select one of your spirits, and it gains 3,000 BP during this turn.
That's interesting. That's a fun game of chicken when you drop this on the board.
Yeah. Oh, that's a good point. I like that you don't have to put cores into it to do that.
Right. Already, and you can do it once, but you can do it any time.
Yeah.
This feels like Key to Dis in Keyforge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
For those of you who don't know, artifacts in Keyforge kind of work like Nexuses. Key to Dis is one of those artifacts. You can slap it down, it comes into play exhausted like creatures do, but then at any time on your turn, it has what's called an Omni ability, so you can activate it no matter what house you're in. It's a board wipe. So at any time that you choose, basically, you can activate it to destroy every creature on the field, which in Keyforge can really swing the tempo of the entire game.
Yeah, and
so
it's just sitting there
taunting
like. Your opponent.
Yeah, it's like, whoop, I just unzipped and put that on the table, Yeah.
It's the equivalent of like sitting there, you have the nuclear launch button on your desk, and you just have your finger hovering over it the entire time.
Yep.
Yeah. Maybe this card is not that extreme, but
right. No, yeah, but it is neat. It's like a very it's a head game card, and I love cards like that.
So the second ability here, so the first ability is just 0 cores, so you can do that at any time. I don't really know if the Nexus cost of like playing this is worth it to have it out there for that telegraphed ability, but the second ability at level 2 for 3 cores, during your opponent's turn, place a core from the void onto this Nexus when your opponent summons a spirit with a when summoned effect. So that's as many times as they do that.
That's so good. That's worth putting 3 cores on if you're playing against yellow.
Yeah. I think this card is actually pretty good. I am going to play around with it. I don't think, like, I play Volcanic Canyon in almost every deck, like I said, right?
Yeah.
I don't think this is one that you play outside of white, but I think if you're playing white, I think maybe you consider throwing this in.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a fun Nexus. That's really all I have to say about it. Is I think it looks fun. But yeah, anything else on that one, or you want me to move on?
Nah, go for it. Go to the next one.
All right, this one is Giant Beast Forest. I like the art on this one. 4 cost reduced by 2. It's a little cheaper here. So level 1 is 0 cores. Level 2 is only 1 core. At level 2 at level 1 and level 2, when destroyed by opponent, place 2 cores from the void into your reserve.
So when is that going to happen?
Right. So I haven't read the next effect yet, but I'm hoping this next effect is amazing. And everyone at home, bated breath, right? When this is destroyed by your opponent, get 2 cores. Why would they ever destroy it? So at level 2, which again for 1 core is during your opponent's main step, when your opponent's effect adds cards to their hand, all of your spirits gain 1000 BP during this turn. That doesn't feel that worth it. That was really anticlimactic.
Yeah. What if it was just like, all of your spirits gain 10,000 BP forever while this is out?
Yeah.
For 1 measly core.
That's weird. I mean, I guess, like, it slows down someone who's having a good draw turn. But, like, even that, like, only 1,000? And also, like, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know about this one.
I don't get it.
I think maybe this is like we were talking about last episode with the discard spirits, right?
Yeah.
I think maybe, like, if you know enough about the game and you can, like, math things out, you just play around this.
Yeah.
But I mean, it says add to hand. So if they draw a card, and it also says during opponent's main step, so it doesn't trigger off of, like, Netherworld Depths or Volcanic Canyon, because that's during the draw step. It's literally just if they, like, main phase play a Star Blast draw or charge draw, or if they, like, I guess, Flying Turtle or something.
Prince Pentan, Kate Sith. Yeah, but even then, like, that's not that much value.
Well, would yellow really hate this? Like, 1,000 BP could really turn the tide in a yellow battle?
Not if they're already facing off against white, is my problem. Yellow already knows what white's doing, and white typically already has the numbers way over yellow anyway. Yellow's only looking for an opening. It's not looking to win a fight.
Yeah.
So I don't get this one.
I don't get this card either.
But I want to figure it out. But I don't get it.
I mean, it's very obvious that for some reason your opponent would destroy it. Like, it would become so good that it's worth it for them to waste a card and for you to get 2 cores.
Or, yeah. Like, this almost feels like I would play this and hope that my opponent accidentally kills my Nexus.
Yeah.
Like, there are cards in Keyforge that when they're destroyed, you get something good to happen.
Yeah.
And so, like, but even then, you can kind of control if they get destroyed. This is specifically when destroyed by your opponent, place 2 cores from the void in your reserve. Feels weird.
Yeah. I don't get it. Maybe this might be a card that we come back and look at, like, 2 or 3 sets from now or something.
Yeah. I think it's weird, though, right now. Let's go to the next one.
Tranquil Ice Cavern. 5 cost, 3 reduction, white Nexus, level 1 for 0 cores, level 2 for 1 core. And at both levels, during opponent's attack step, your blocking spirits gain 1,000 BP. And then at level 2, during either attack step, your spirits with a soul core on them cannot be selected by the effects of your opponent's spirits with a soul core on them.
Okay.
A lot of interesting soul core stuff going on with the Nexuses.
A lot.
Flash abilities and soul core positioning seem to be the two things that they're exploring with the Nexuses right now.
Yeah. This is interesting. During either attack step. So I think of that like Ice Maiden or Ice Princess or whatever that manipulates the soul core a little bit. Otherwise, like, you know, this can work. It's an edge case. It's cheap for that level 2 effect. It's got Rocket City's original effect. It's fine. I don't know.
Still rather play Rocket City over this, though.
I think so too, because I think its second ability, well, I mean, I guess they're both situational, but I'd still rather play Rocket City. They cost the same amount of cores if you have a board, but Rocket City is cheaper overall for like a turn 1 or turn 2 play.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
A lot of confusing things going on with the Nexuses, which, I mean, I don't think they would intentionally print Nexuses that, like, all of these Nexuses that no one's ever going to play.
Right.
Like, obviously, there's some kind of plan here, and I don't know that we see the full picture yet.
I agree. That's how I have to be feeling right now, because otherwise, yeah, like a lot of these feel dud, but like they're smarter than this. And so I guarantee it's like, it's for rotation, like you mentioned, and it's for stuff to come.
Yeah, I mean, when Netherworld Depths rotates, maybe we go back and look at that other Nexus, and we're like, okay, let's try this undead build now, because I think...
And if Rocket City leaves, you get the blocking power from the Ice Cavern, you know, maybe, yeah, it's to switch things up. I'm excited to look at yellow, though, because, again, I'm a yellow boy.
I'm excited about this first card here, Ticking Floral Clock.
Ooh.
The art on this one is really nice. I like the floral clock. It's cool looking.
Yeah.
What confuses me is the Chihuahua in the right corner.
I love him.
It looks like I am assuming this is not a Chihuahua, but it looks like the Taco Bell Chihuahua.
I was gonna say,
like
it does.
On vacation visiting the floral clock.
Yeah. This is a weird one.
4 cost 2 reduction yellow Nexus for 0 cores at level 1 and 3 cores at level 2. During either attack step at both level 1 and level 2, all of your level 1 spirits gain 1,000 BP. That seems pretty decent in yellow.
That rules.
Level 2, during opponent's attack step, it has Flash, so this is another one of those Flash abilities. You may destroy this Nexus to select one of your opponent's spirits, treat it as level 1 during this turn.
That's huge.
So, Dual Eagle likes this.
Yep. Dual Eagle loves this card. And, I mean, honestly, this works with the Pegasus pretty well, too, because if you have a bunch of 2 costs at level 1 and the Dual Eagle, you buff the little guys, all of your opponents are treated as level 1, suddenly yellow can cover the spread. And that's pretty fun. It's a little expensive, but you are spreading your cores out across a lot of multiple little guys. So it feels more feasible. I will probably try this one out in my Fabled Beast deck, because I think it's pretty neat.
I think you could drop this in as a one-of and just...
I think so. Especially because you're going to destroy it to get its effect. It's like, these are like long-term spells. You kind of have to telegraph it, which I don't love, but if the ability is good enough, it might be worth it.
Yeah.
And I think that's the point of this one, right? It's a ticking floral clock. It's like, when are they going to bomb this? I think thematically it's really, really cool. This one makes a lot more sense to me than a lot of the other ones we've seen.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to play around with this one.
Yo Quiero, ticking floral clock. All right, this next one is Secret Flower Garden. It is a 4 cost, 2 reduction yellow Nexus. Level 1 for 0 cores, level 2 for 1. At level 1 and level 2, when one of your yellow Nexuses is destroyed by your opponent's effect, place a core from the void into your life. Boom. That's cool.
Baby.
That's
I like that.
Cool.
This is already better than that white Nexus.
Yes.
By a long shot.
Yellow loves their Nexuses. It's like in Digimon. Yellow loves their tamers. Same vibe, right? You're going to have a lot of Nexuses you're running. It's not protection, but what it is it gives your opponent a tough choice. And the level 2 effect for only 1 core says during your attack step, all of your spirits with Blessed or Luster gain 1000 BP. So that's also very good to push Blessed through.
For 1 core.
For 1 core! And this card would sight itself. It would see itself if it's destroyed.
Yeah.
Like Friezatal sees itself.
They're trying to get rid of this to stop you from having that 1k over.
You're going to ramp.
This is a great Nexus. I will play this one in my Blessed deck for
Easily.
sure.
Easily. This is perfect for Blessed. And, I mean, honestly, it's just a solid one at 1 or 2 to slot in with a lot of yellow decks, especially the Luster keyword, too, because that helps those battles go a little farther, because there's a lot of cards already that buff Luster, and then you're playing spells to debuff your opponent, and then you get those back. So, like, again, these yellow Nexuses are making yellow a little stickier, and I love to see it.
Yeah, if I imagine myself blowing up a Nexus, there's 2 things that come to mind. One is Netherworld Depths, and the other one is any of those really annoying yellow Nexuses.
Blessed Cathedral, Phantasmal Paradise. Yeah.
Yeah. Those are the things I imagine. Those are the things I daydream about blowing up with a Burning Force, you know?
Yeah,
like...
and I've had you blow up my yellow Nexuses with Burning Force.
So
Secret Flower Garden.
Definitely playable. Also, the art is really neat. Do we know who that character is?
I'm not sure.
Looks kind of like Hatsune Miku.
It does.
Maybe we get a Hatsune Miku crossover.
She's everywhere.
Collaboration.
This next one also has some very classic yellow art.
Harpy Nest Palace. That looks beautiful. I would like to vacation there in that city.
I would too.
It looks like you may need to be a harpy in order to get around, though.
Yeah.
4 cost 2 reduction, yellow Nexus, level 1 for 0 cores, level 2 for 1 core. Level 1 and 2 during your attack step, one of your bird folk spirits is blocked. Treat the blocking spirit as level 1 during this turn. So a lot of level 1 stuff going on. Level 2, during your opponent's turn, when a core is placed into your reserve, you may exhaust this Nexus to select up to 2 of your spirits. Place any number of cores onto them from your reserve.
This is cool. It's obviously very niche and for a bird folk build, but that's exciting to me.
Yeah, it gives you a reason to play bird folks specifically.
Yeah, and I do want to build a full bird folk deck, because I don't feel like they necessarily play nice with the rest of yellow. But
yeah.
I like tribal decks. We've talked about this a lot.
Yeah, me too.
And I'm definitely, I mean, that's a cheap one. It's another cheap one that's really good. And the bird folks want you to reduce your opponent's level. They want you to move some cores around to like sneak attack block, and I think this is a good solid Nexus. So far yellow is winning. All 3 I think are playable.
That's what I thought as well until I started to see the green ones, but
Ooh.
I won't spoil too much. I think we should just get into it.
All right, so this is it. These are the last 4 for today.
Yep.
So there are 4 green Nexuses. So far we've just seen 3 of the other colors, but again, they gotta catch up with the rest of the fold. So there are 4 of these here. And this first one is Great Alver Plains. It's a 3 cost, 1 reduction Nexus. Level 1 for 0 cores, level 2 for 2 cores. At level 1 and level 2, when placed, select one of your opponent's spirits and exhaust it.
I think that's like the first time we've seen that trigger ability, right?
Yeah, I think so. And this rules. This is a little pincer on a stick.
And that's just doing what green wants to do.
And this, remember at the top of the episode, I'm like, what Nexuses do I put in my green and purple deck? This one. This one.
Well, it has level 2 as well.
Level 2 ability. During your attack step, when one of your spirits with no effects listed is destroyed, select one of your spirits and refresh it.
I knew you'd be excited about this.
White Green Spring of Norn!
I knew you'd be excited about this.
White Green Spring of Norn, baby. It's happening. Yep. It's happening. Yep. Oh, I cannot wait.
Yep. Green has some damn good textless spirits as well.
Yes, they do. Oh my gosh. This is champ.
Yeah. I knew you would be excited about this card.
Oh, I'm so excited about this card. I already have like a Spring of Norn white green deck in the works, so this is even better.
Yeah. I'm definitely interested to see how you build it with this.
Oh, that is so exciting.
I think there's another Nexus. I don't know if it's the next one. that kind of plays into that too. I don't think it is
Ooh.
this one, but I'll read the next one. The next one is Great Tree Gate.
Say
Four
that
cost
5 times fast.
Great Tree Gate. Whoa, I'm gonna say something that's gonna get us canceled if I say it 5 times fast. 4 cost, 2 reduction. Green Nexus, level 1 0 cores, level 2 3 cores. So at both levels, during your attack step, when one of your spirits destroys an opponent's spirit via comparing BP, place a core from the void onto this Nexus. So we're ramping.
Whoa.
Level 2, this is our flash, and you can destroy this Nexus to select one of your opponent's spirits and exhaust it.
So expensive to do the when placed. However, pivotal moment, and you can ramp with this one. So there's a trade-off here. This is just good design.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think this one's decent.
Yeah.
I could see myself trying it out. The being able to exhaust something at flash speed seems good. I mean, that's a way to protect your life. You know.
Yeah.
I also wonder if people just like, especially as we're getting used to these cards, people will forget that ability is there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. This one I feel like could be kind of fun also in a green with splash red kind of aggro deck. Or like maybe red splash green. Like red aggro. So like a lot of red, a lot of power, and then some green exhaust stuff.
Well, if you have confront.
Oh.
Then
yeah.
You're like forcing this to happen.
And you're getting a ramp in red, which feels good and illegal.
This could be
good, interesting.
Actually. Yeah, this could be good. I didn't think about it with red, but yeah, I agree. This could be really good with red.
There's so many possibilities for deck building in this game. I'm very impressed. Oh, baby. This is the one. This is the one.
This is exciting.
Infinite Ant Undercity, and it's got Amaranth Man on the art. I love Amaranth Man.
It looks like it was the same artist because it has that kind of weird style to it, which is cool. I like that.
Also, if anyone hasn't watched our gameplay video on YouTube that we just put up recently, I play a green-purple deck, and Eric plays some white, and then what was that third game? What deck did you play? Did you just play the white the whole time?
I played Blade Beast.
Oh, that's right. You threw together a Blade Beast deck for the third game. Yeah. But we had some good games looking at some green cards and how green interacts with white and how green interacts with purple in its own deck. And the whole time I was maybe wanting this Nexus, but we'll see. So at level 1, it's 0 cores. Level 2 is 3 cores. Level 1 and 2, passive. When you summon a token spirit, place a core from your trash into your reserve. Then you may place that core onto the token spirit you're summoning. So this helps tokens not be so expensive. Because I was finding in our games that the queen was just a little too out of reach for me at some points. But then in the third game, I got it. But in those first two games...
You played her and let the tokens die in a couple instances.
Yeah, because I had to.
Yeah.
If this was on the board, it would have helped a little bit. And then at level 2...
You're gonna like this next one.
Yes. At level 2, during either attack step, all of your spirits with no effects listed gain 1,000 BP for each core on them. During either attack step. So now I'm thinking it's Spring of Norn, green textless with white, and tokens. Which white also has tokens.
White has mech tokens, yeah.
Yes. So... maybe you just go all white Spring of Norn, white textless mech tokens with Infinite Ant Undercity in there too.
I think there's definitely a token deck here. There's also a just textless spirit deck here.
Yeah, I think this won't go in the green-purple deck that I've been talking about. I don't need it. But I think this could be very fun for my textless deck that I'm trying to perfect.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. All right.
I think it's good. It's a good card.
Last one.
All right. Last Green Nexus, Giant Wood Castle Keep. It looks kind of like the castle that's on the back of the
Blade Beast, yeah.
Yeah, the Blade Beast guy. 5 cost 2 reduction at level 1 for 0. It's level 1 for 0 cores, and then it's level 2 for 2 cores. So at both levels, during opponent's attack step, when one of your spirits with a soul core on it destroys one of your opponent's spirits via comparing BP, select one of your spirits and refresh it. And then at level 2... Oh, yeah, it is Brandbore, but on a Nexus.
Yeah, but Brandbore, if it has the soul core, is going to ready when it kills something. And then this lets you ready a second creature with Brandbore.
That's pretty cool.
That's pretty cool.
I dig that. Does Brandbore need the soul core? I think I was playing the soul core on it because of I was playing with the Airborne Crag.
Oh, maybe it doesn't. Oh, yeah, because Airborne Crag does a similar thing.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. No, yeah, so Brandbore doesn't even need it.
Yeah, he just readies when he kills stuff.
So you could essentially... Oh, wait, never mind, because these are 2 cards doing the same thing. No, not necessarily. You could, like, stand a lot of cards with a certain combo here.
Yeah, I think you could combo this out in a way that you, like, get, like, theoretically infinite attacks.
Yeah.
Which is kind of scary.
That is scary. Someone smarter than me is going to figure out how to make this and Brandbore and Skyborn Crack work really, really good.
It's going to be nuts. It does have another ability, though. Level 2, during either attack step, when destroyed effects on your opponent's spirits are not triggered.
That's huge.
Yep, that's pretty big.
That's a powerful effect.
Yeah, I think this is definitely playable. It's a little more niche, but I think what you were just saying is where it belongs. I think you play this in a deck where you're taking full advantage of the refreshing.
Yeah. It is. Yeah, it is niche, but it can be very, very powerful. I feel like this Nexus is definitely going to get some play. In the Blade Beast meta, especially. Yeah. Because those cards are nuts. I haven't figured them out yet, but those cards can just be crazy, I feel like. So
those cards are good, and if you watch your gameplay video, I think I even say this in the video, my main issue I kept running into, and this might just be that I haven't perfected the build yet, is that it always feels like I don't have enough cores to play them.
Yeah.
So I think Blade Beasts are going to be good. Blade Beasts are not as simple as just taking all the cards that say Blade Beast on them and putting them in a deck.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly. They're not ready to be a tribal deck yet.
Yeah. For those, you gotta do some thinking.
Great Tree Gate also feels kind of Blade Beasty. Because it gives you that ramp. And you want to destroy. Where, like, the way I play green is very sneaky, like yellow. You know, I'm just rather going wide with cheap until I get, like, my big guy. Yeah. But the Blade Beasts are very aggressive, and I feel like they'll mix with red pretty well, too. Confront, like you said.
Yeah, I think there's definitely some red-green aggro builds that are going to pop up.
Like Emperor Beasts and Blade Beasts, 1, they look alike, but 2, they might work well together. I would like to look into that, like a classic red-green big creature aggro deck, like in every other game.
Yep.
Could be fun.
And it's funny how the colors for this game are kind of matching up to some things in like Magic the Gathering. Like we were talking about like green-white tokens. Like that's definitely a Magic deck. And red-green aggro. Like it just kind of matches up a little bit.
Yeah. And I don't know if that's like purposeful or subconscious or like just we as game players log into that, or if they use that to be like, it's just easier to make a new game if you subconsciously are making other people make connections. Like every game, every card game like this that I play, red does the same thing, you know?
Yeah.
And
because
like,
you think fire, you think fast, you think explosions,
yeah. And blue is like fluid, water, like, yeah.
But I wonder how much we're missing by coming at it with these like biased
I know,
you know?
Yeah, I wonder too.
Do you want to play our little game really quick before we sign off?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do everybody's favorite segment, Champ or Chump.
Ding 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 ding. That was me adding the sound effect because I listened to our episode and realized that we didn't have a sound effect.
I didn't.
Like
I did this time.
You did this time?
I played it live.
Oh.
You couldn't hear it, but I did it.
Okay. Well, I hope everyone enjoyed that sound effect.
I loved it. I loved that you were there with it.
All right, do you want to ask me first, or should I ask you?
I'll ask you first.
Okay.
I want to come back to which one was it? I want to go back to Far Flung Land.
Ooh,
Champ
that's
or chump?
champ or chump. Far flung land. That's tough.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me think this through.
Sure. Take your time.
So, during opponent's attack step, flash, you may destroy this nexus to select one of your spirits. It gains 3,000 BP during this turn. You can do that for potentially a cost of 2. However, you can't really surprise them with that. They know that that's coming because this is sitting there. Because it's during your opponent's attack step. That's interesting. So you can't even do this during your own attack step. It's only a defensive thing.
Mm-hmm.
Level 2 for 3 cores. During your opponent's turn, place a core from the void onto this nexus when your opponent summons a spirit with a when summoned effect. I do think that in the new meta, when summoned is going to become more prevalent because I've seen it a lot on a lot of the spirits that we saw.
Yeah.
And also with the prevalence of purple in the meta recently, I think when summoned is becoming a bigger thing. So
And yellow.
And yellow. Yeah, yellow's been placing pretty well as well. Yellow got second place at the Grand Open in Ohio.
That's right.
So, for instance, I've been playing Charged Draw instead of Starblast Draw when I'm not playing red, and even when I am playing red. And the reason for that is when summoned just wasn't really a big thing in like our meta locally.
Yeah.
But now that I've seen it start to become more of a thing, and even when I played in the store champs, there were a lot of people playing purple. I was like, okay, I think it's time to switch back to Starblast Draw. So all that to say, I do think triggering on when summoned is pretty good, and this helps you ramp. I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm gonna say champ.
Yeah.
For Far Flung Land.
I
think
agree.
it's a champ card. I think that this is one of the best flash effects that we've seen from those Nexuses that have them. The main reason being that it's 0 cores to do that, so it's just always on. And then it has a pretty decent passive ramp ability that, I mean, 3 cores is a bit pricey, but I think it's good. I think this is champ.
I think what makes it champ for me also is that yes, you're telegraphing what it can do, but you still have the control of when it goes off. And white also just has a lot of other cards you could flash in and not even use this all the time. So if your opponent thinks they're going to force you into using it, they could be wrong. And or they could be right, but you still get the trade there. I just think it's a cool card. I think it's champ.
That's a good point too. If they have a lot of when summoned abilities, they may try to force you into a situation where they want you to use it.
Yeah.
It just becomes a really, like you were talking about, I think you talked about like way back in episode 1, it's like a game of chicken. Like it really, brings that to the surface again, as you're just like playing chicken with your opponent with this one.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. I think it's really fun. Kind of suppression on a stick. Not as powerful, obviously, but if you have both, you have options, and that's fun.
Yeah.
All right.
Champ or chump? I want your opinion on Impaler Forest. Champ or chump?
Impaler Forest. Is that which one is that?
It's a purple Nexus. 4
there
cost.
It is. Okay. It's 4 cost, 2 reduction. During your attack step, when you destroy one of your when you destroy one of your spirits with one of your effects. I have not seen a lot of the set 2 purple spirits yet.
So maybe difficult for you to say.
Yeah, like I don't want to just be like, oh, this is too situational, but then everyone's like screaming at me like there are so many destruction. But let me think about this for a second. So during opponent's end step, at the start of the step, this is that recursion one.
I think you can rate this with the caveat that you have not seen the purple spoiler.
Yeah.
Spirits.
Yeah. I think going back to what we said about purple being able to create the wound and then pour salt into it all in one fell swoop, I think that's so... It's a lot of things. It's powerful in a game. It's fun for the person doing it. And it's versatile. Like, again, it's the Swiss Army knife, every surface dipped in poison. And it's literally called Impaler Forest. Like, the art is just bladed trees, bladed grass. Like, it's cool. I'm going to vent... it's a little expensive, though. But recursion is not something we have a lot of in the game anyway. But we do have recursion in purple, so it just kind of makes sense to bomb your own stuff and get it back. Or use really powerful effects, lose them, but then get to do them again. Purple... Yeah, I'm going to have to go and say champ on this one.
Nice.
What do you think?
I think time will tell, but I think if I had to make a definitive decision, this card gets me excited.
Yeah.
I think champ. Like, I want to build with this card. I think this is kind of what we talked about last time with champ or chump, is like, does this card get better or worse as the game continues on?
Yes.
And I think the fact that this says select a spirit card in your trash and return it to the top of your deck, it doesn't specify color, it doesn't specify the type of spirit.
Good point.
I think that every new spirit card that gets printed has the potential to make this card better than it was before.
Yeah, that's a very good point. I think you're absolutely right there.
Time, like I said, time will tell. Maybe this is like chump for the next set or two, but then maybe like the final set of the fourth set that comes out or something. Maybe something happens where it goes nuts with this card, or maybe even in this set, maybe it's actually like really strong.
Yeah, I like it. I would love to hear from our faithful listeners what you think about these Nexuses, where you differ with us or where you agree with us. Let's start a dialogue. Let's start a conversation. I think there are some really interesting Nexuses revealed here. Especially coming into a pool where, we have a decent amount of Nexuses, but not all of them are seeing like top level play for one difference or another. So I'd like to also hear what people are running, like at your local metas or when you're playing with friends. Like, what cards do you just enjoy? And then which of these cards do you feel excited to deck build around? Like we are excited about Impaler Forest in Far-Flung Lands and every yellow Nexus for me.
Yeah. The yellow ones are great.
Yeah.
And the yellow and green definitely were the top tier Nexuses from this set. From the reveals. I mean, we'll have to see how it plays out, but that's my opinion.
Yep, I agree. But yeah, that was a lot of fun. So yeah, you can leave us a comment on YouTube, Absolute BSS Pod. You can interact with the polls in the Q&A that we put on Spotify, if that's where you're listening to this right now. I like to put those up. And those stay up for like the week after the episode is aired. And you can always email us at absolutebsspod@gmail.com. And that's also our handle on Twitter. So if you want to keep the conversation going, upgrade your workflow with Streamlabs Ultra. Sorry, I had a pop-up. If you want to keep the conversation going between episodes, we would love that.
Or if you want to upgrade your workflow with Streamlabs Ultra,
Now you know how. If you're watching the YouTube version of this, which thank you everyone who's subscribed to the YouTube and interacted over there too. There's tons of ways to hang out with us and talk about Battle Spirit Saga, and that's what we do. That's why we started the podcast, is to talk about Battle Spirit Saga. So yeah, let us know what you think. But yeah, any closing thoughts here, Eric? This has been fun.
No, I think that just about covers it. I'm excited to see, like you said, I think every color has a Nexus that it plays right now. And I'm interested to see, like, with the Nexus slots so limited, I'm excited to see, like, what people slot in. Like, do people play around with not having Netherworld depths? Because maybe some of these purple cards are a little more situational for their specific deck. I don't know.
Yeah. Like, maybe you do throw some of these in because they're not the obvious Burning Force target. Maybe your opponent slips up. They're like, I could Burning Force their Nexus, or I could get some value by killing one creature. What am I gonna do? And then they
Yeah.
destroy the creature, and then later on in the game, they're like, I should have destroyed that Nexus.
I think Impaler Forest doesn't seem that bad until it does something and you're like, oh, that needs to die.
Yep. Yeah, I think so. And I think Monstrous Mausoleum is kind of similar. The only thing with that one is it's a little more expensive. So
Yeah.
just taking away something big that your opponent paid for always feels good.
Yeah.
So.
Just to stick it to the man, you know?
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to do it for us. We already told you where to find us and all that good stuff. Leave us some comments, send us some hate mail, whatever you want to do. But thank you, as always, for checking out Absolute BSS. We'll be back with more content in the future. I'm Cameron.
And I'm Eric.
And we will catch you next time. Bye.
See ya.